Okay, what we're doing is joining a braid onto a 15-pound braid onto what we've got here is a 20-pound fluorocarbon mono line. So two different size lines. Best not I've used most of the time to join these two is Albright Special. So what we're doing first, we're going to make a circle loop like this with your braid. Then we're going to get the mono and we'll pick up the braid and try and hold it as best we can. It never works as well as it does in pictures. And we're going to push your braid up through the loop. And what we want to do is we want to wrap the mono around the braid at least 10 times in that direction, so towards the where your reel would be, and then the same 10 times back that direction, back over your same loop. So that's what we'll be trying to do here. So we get a fair bit through, so we've got enough to work with, and then we start wrapping it around. And if my hands get in the way, I do apologize. I will put a diagram up with this as well so that you can see what it should look like, but as you can tell when you're actually tying the knots, it's always not as easy as the diagrams look. But if we just wrap these around, and I'll try and hold them as best I can. 3. Four, 6. I probably floated too much mono through. 6, 7, 8, 9. And what we're going to do now is then thread back towards the right, the same number of times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. And I've just lost, there it is, 6. 7, 8. Now this is where the loop is. I'll pull it out a bit so you can see it a bit easier. That we started with. As you move along, the line never behaves properly. You can just see, hopefully, where the mono went through the loop. I'll see if I can pull it apart so it's easy to see. My hands aren't delicate for this operation. So the mono has gone through this way, and what we're going to do is we're going to basically feed the mono back in through the same loop, and then we are going to tighten from either end, pull to tighten, and it should then form up a knot in the middle. So just give me a second while I try and put this through the gap without losing the entire lot that I've just done. And when I pull it tight, I may then come out of focus of the camera, so I can use my teeth to make it easier, so I apologise for that. There, so I've got that loop through, and I've got the loop on the other end, and we pull these two together, tighten them up, and as you can see, so if we zoom right in towards the knot itself, you're now left, oops, my apologies, you're now left with a little knot like this of where the mono and the braid have joined together. And we'll cut the excess off either side, but watch as I put as much pressure as I can through both, and you can see the knot does not move at all. This is a good way to join two different size lines together. One of my preferred knots for mono to braid, other than the double uni knot, which I can put a video up for as well. So you can cut this quite close up, small enough to feed through your rings of your fishing lines rings. I'll get this cut properly, my scissors. There we go. You're left with a tiny knot, just like that. And that is how we connect our mono to our braid. Hopefully you can see that half decent, and that'll hold very well, usually 75% of the strength of the two. And I generally then use the end of my mono, and I'll sometimes put a figure of 8 on the end here so that I can attach a clip or whatever, so that I can put on different rigs as I choose fit, rather than having to change different lines. And that's very simple. What I do for that, this is just something a little bit extra. So I form a nice little loop like this. It's called a figure of 8 because we do make a figure of 8, so we cross the line over like this, over the top of itself, underneath itself, and then through the little hole that you've created. And why it's called the figure of 8 is because it actually looks like a figure of 8, and as you tighten it you can quite clearly see that figure of 8 as it tightens. You can put your little finger in there, tighten it nice and tight up, and you end up with a nice little loop like that. I'll just cut off the excess. And I have a loop on the end of my line, which I can then feed through all of the rings on your fishing rod without having any clips in place. And then I can then clip on my rigs and change them out without having to mess about. So that's how I join my mono onto my braid, then create a little figure 8 loop at the end to attach a clip onto the rigs. And that's that for that one. I'll do a separate one to show you. If you don't like doing the Albright Special, we can do the double uni knot, which is a little bit different again. But thank you.